going? Shh. Hey guys, hang on. I'm making sure everything's on here. What am I doing? There. Okay. Oh. My thing's all frozen up. Just a second. Sorry, guys. Instagram's frozen. Let's try this again. Okay. Hello. Sorry, I'm a little late. It has been a long day today. At the end of a long week. Hey, guys. Where am I? There I am. All right. It's right here. Hi. All right. Can everybody see me? Are we good? Welcome to the Friday night happy hour. We've got sewing and a little wine. Not much, nothing in excess, just a sip here and there. We want to make sure our seams stay nice and straight. I have my Minnie Mouse with me, and she is been waiting for me to have fun with her all week long. I just don't see. I see Sherry is on. Hi, Sherry. Where am I? There I am. Okay. All right. Nice to see you too, my friend. Sherry is my new friend. She fell in love with one of those little white machines that I posted earlier this week. And one of them is going home to Tennessee early next week. It's her first. Welcome to the club. I say first because it's probably not going to be your last. They're like cats and grandchildren. You just kind of collect them. So for those of you who are new, oopsie, to my Friday night live, it's just an hour of me chatting about whatever comes to mind. If you guys have any questions for me, go ahead and ask. I have Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram on, so bear with me. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget any anyone. I have my Tula Pink quilt that I've been working on, and I'm hoping to put a dent in it this evening. This is kind of more of an informal thing. If you guys have your sewing machines, pull them out. Let's sew together. Hello, Linda Hadley from Michigan. Nice to see you. So just so you guys know what I'm working on, in case this is your first time joining me, I am working on a Tula Pink quilt that was made by Stephanie at Quilt Addicts Anonymous, and it's called Cross Your Heart, and it's a modern quilt design. Hi, Ellie from Centerville, Texas. She's been making masks. Good girl. I have to make some more, but I had to move on to something that wasn't quite as creatively soul-sucking as mask making is, because you can only make so many masks before you're like, good Lord, too many masks. And Mary's on from Seattle. Someday I'll meet you when we're out of jail. So this is the center block. I fussy cut, oops, how do I do this again? I fussy cut all my little sewing machines out. Do you guys know what the term fussy cut means? Pat Chandler wants to know, should you periodically oil your featherweight even if it's not being used? That's a really good question. Let's talk about that. Just a second though, let me tell you what fussy cutting is. So in this quilt, there's like big 12-inch blocks and then a lot of negative space. And in the blocks, it has a center medallion like these. And I fussy cut them out so that every block has the same little sewing machine. See? Isn't that cute? It's kind of a bit of a waste of fabric. Thank you. I love it too. A pink polka dot. It's kind of a waste of fabric because you have a lot of scrap, but oh, come on. With the little sewing machine, I mean, come on. You gotta love that. All right, so let me answer Pat Chandler's question, which is an excellent question. So the answer is, if it's been sitting a year, Pat, then I'd say yes for sure. Oil. The oil and lubrication is really more for keeping the metal wear down as it's being used often. So there's some oil points that are like every 8 hours of sewing, and then there's some. And then there's oil points that are more like an annual thing. So I will say that if you are intending to use the featherweight and it has been sitting over a month, then yes, you need to go through and do all of her oil and oil lubrication points before you start sewing with her, just to make sure that, you know, she hasn't had an opportunity to dry out. Especially, I'm not sure where you are in the country, if you live in a really arid part of the country, hot and arid like Arizona, where things just dry out. I mean, I've seen the Arizona heat ruin belts with very little hourly usage on them because it's just so dry there. So it depends a little bit about where you live. Here in Seattle, we live in a humid part of the country and it's not as important, but if it has been sitting over a month, then the machine needs to be oiled before you actually use her. And then I have, so Kathy Nix just said, got my first featherweight, 1947. Welcome, Kathy, to the club. Love it. Her name is Shirley. She sews as good as my big girls. I have some big girls too. That's hilarious. That made me laugh. Okay, Pat, you're in Mississippi. There's probably enough humidity in that environment where I wouldn't worry about it sitting. But if the big thing, if the machine, Pat, has been sitting for too long, is you want to make sure that the grease in the motor doesn't harden up. So even if you pull it out once a month or once every other month to hit some oil and lubrication points, make sure you kind of fiddle with the little pulley here. Oh, you can't see that. Okay, sorry. I'm going to try and pull this up like that. Make sure the end cap on the end of the motor, just roll it around a little bit in your fingers. Oh, did I screw that up? I didn't. Just to make sure that it doesn't seize up on you and that doesn't give the grease in the motor opportunity to get hard. Hello, Miss Helen Nickerson from Bellingham. I have your 222 still. I was supposed to ship it today. And then Costco happened. It was a whole situation. So tomorrow, your Ruby, which I think is awesome. You named your 222 Ruby because I have a 222 named Ruby. They're like sisters, clearly. They'll be off to tomorrow. So, all right. So let's see. Welcome, Kathy Nix, also. All right. I have not used Minnie since my last live. So here's hoping she's going to behave herself. Minnie Mouse is a 1950 machine. She always starts out a little slow if I haven't used her for a little bit because her motor needs to heat up and the grease needs to soften up. How'd everybody's week go? You're welcome, Pat. If I'm being totally transparent, I was not having a good day yesterday. I was, what's the word? On the edge of sanity, is that the word? Just, there's all this stuff, is so disheartening that's going on around you. Sometimes it's a very helpless feeling, and I let that get to me yesterday. I am using my 1/4 inch foot on here. So for those of you who are new to featherweights, the foot that probably came with your machine is not a 1/4 inch foot. It's a 4 millimeter foot, It's for clothing construction. It is not for piecing quilts. Thank you. Someone just said, I love your machine. And so you should procure a 1/4 inch foot from someone. We carry them on our website. We sell them for $16.95 if you need one. I have many. I was supposed to have many shows this spring, and they have all gone by the wayside. All right, Paula Patton. If the machine runs slower at times, does that mean there's something wrong with the motor? Not necessarily. It actually, if Paula, do you mean, so clarify your question, do you mean it was running fine and then it slows down and then it speeds up, or it starts off slow and gets faster? So that's a different problem. So Paula, if you want to type back to me and let me know. If the machine starts off a little slow and warms up and gets faster, that's totally normal. If the machine is running fine and then it slows down, it could be, if you have the original incandescent light bulb in the neck of the machine, it could mean that the heat from the light bulb has swelled the steel gears behind the lamp, and that's why it has slowed down. So you really should change it out for an LED light bulb that doesn't get hot. The first thing I said, okay, so it starts off slow and then it speeds up. Totally normal. Nothing wrong with it. Pam Blanchard. Hi, Pam from North Central LA. Hi, California. West Coast girl. Nice to see you. Thank you for someone complimented my gorgeous machine. You have both a 221 and a 222. Me too. I have a couple. It's bad. You just start a collection, and then here's the thing, ladies. If you call it a collection, they can't call you a hoarder. So clearly, Seed Stitch 13, you just have a nice collection going. You're welcome, Paula. Oh, I should really pay attention. I almost just sewed not the right sides together on this. So this week for me has been a lot of machine servicing. I don't know how many of you are new. Nice 221s, nice. You need a long, yeah. The long arm is pretty nice. Actually, for those of you who don't know me, I started out, professionally speaking, in the quilting world as a long armer and also a quilting teacher. And the featherweight fascination came third. So that's interesting. So I've been a professional long arm quilter for I think about 15 years. And oh, sorry, my hand's in the way. And both sewing for other people and myself. And then to supplement, because here in Seattle, quilting income is very seasonal. So I would have these really, really, really busy seasons, and then everything would die off in the long arm business, like January. And then again in the summertime, because here, as soon as the sun comes out, everybody goes out to their gardens. Weird sewing needle on the right. Oh, yeah. This is a sewing aid, not a sewing needle. Not too much, though. We don't want to sew our hands. Anyway, and so I started teaching to kind of help supplement the inconsistent quilting income. And then I bought my first featherweight around the same time that I went professional, because I needed a machine that I could carry easily. I had a big fat fancy Bernina, and it weighed like 25 pounds, and it just wasn't really conducive to all of the teaching I was doing. So I found my first featherweight Esther, and then yeah, sewing aid. You get it? I found my first featherweight, and that's when the love affair started with the little tiny machines. So but the long arm I keep now just because it's I mostly to do myself my bigger quilts, and I have a handful of clients still. Well, more than a handful. I've got about a handful and a half of clients still, and they are not allowing me to retire from the quilting yet. So I still do some quilting for other people. I actually have 5 client quilts in here right now because I've been so busy with my machines. I haven't had time to turn the machine on. Oh, you're in Spokane. Nice. I was just there last weekend. That's where I was picking up all those machines. Was in Spokane. And because of the quarantine, I had to drive from Seattle to Spokane and back in one day, which is about, well, the way I was driving, it was a little less than 4 hours, but it should take more like 4.5 because there was literally like nowhere to stop. Like we stopped for gas outside of Seattle and outside of Spokane, and I was worried the rest stations weren't going to be open if I had to pee, excuse my language. But they were, thank goodness, because there was no restaurants, nothing was open. It was kind of a depressing little trip, except my daughter was with me, so that was fun. What other than masks, what other things have you guys been working on? This is my sixth quarantine quilt. Harlan, Kentucky, you have the sweetest voice. Oh, thanks. So sweet. Hi, Wanda. Kay Burkhart. Is this a left-handed machine or a backwards? Oh, no, it's a right-handed machine. I think it's flipped because of the camera angle, why it looks a little weird. You guys are probably all over the country, but some parts of the country are opening back up today. We are, oh, good. We are not opening back up yet. We are still in our shelter in place. And oh, really? And we're extended till after May. Holy moly. Okay, so working on a memory bear and baby quilt here, taking a break from the mass. Amen. You can only make so many soul-sucking masks, creatively speaking. All right. The sound of that little machine. I love the sound of it too. It is not, I don't even think there is a left-handed machine, like a featherweight anyway. They're all open to the left, like this. What's the quilt design? Okay, so it's called Cross Your Heart design, made by Stephanie at Quilt Addicts Anonymous. Let me show you. Oh, I have the pattern right here. Okay, you guys ready? I'll show it over here in a minute. So here's the pattern. So the quilt is has a lot of negative space, and Stephanie's original drawing, this is what it looks like done, had white in it. And I don't need another white quilt. I have another Tula quilt on there. That's that Lone Star that she kitted up. And that's my spring quilt. And I really needed a winter one. So instead of doing it in the white, my negative space is navy. So it's going to be my winter quilt for next winter. Okay, so someone wants to know about the story with the story with the 16 machines. So it actually was 16 that I picked up this weekend. Someone just made 700 masks. Wow, you go, girl. That is awesome. I bought the lot from a collector, and the 16 was actually the second lot I bought from him. He had 13 more that I picked up this fall. What it was a gentleman who really was just thought these little machines were cute, and over the last 20 years, he's been buying them up off of eBay left and right. And he lives part-time in Canada and part-time down in the Southwest, and he contacted me a year ago to make a bid. You're interested in my wine? Okay, I'll talk about that in a minute. So he wanted to do have me take all of them, all the machines. So I gave him a bid for the 16 that he had down in the Southwest, and then time got away from him. 1,300 masks, Pat Chandler. Holy moly! Nice job. We are essential workers, ladies. Anyway, the time got away from us and the fall came around, and he transitioned from his Southeast home back up to Canada, and we didn't finish the deal. And so he called me and he goes, I think I have a couple more in my house in Canada. Are you interested in those too? And of course I'm like, well, yes, I'm interested in any machines. This is my job. And so we made a deal for the 13. I went and picked them up. In that lot, there were 7 222s, and then a white 221, and then all black 221s. And I have some of those, the 222s left over, and the white one actually. And then for this 16, what we decided to do over the winter was he was going to drive them up to me on his way home from the Southwest up to Canada through Seattle this summer. But then he called in before all this virus malarkey started, and he said that he wanted to get them to me sooner, and his friend who lives in Spokane, Washington, was coming through, and so he was going to have the friend bring him home, and then I drove out to Spokane to pick him up. So in this 16 machine lot, I had 5 more 222s. I had 3 tans, which I've never even had the opportunity in all of my years of working to even buy a tan to sell. So I was getting 3 of them. They're all spoken for. Don't bombard my email. And then 2 more whites, which were the picture that I posted yesterday. 5 more 222s, and the rest were 221s. So I've been going through and kind of slowly working through them. Obviously, the tans were a first priority because everybody was waiting on that. So yeah. So who all so of the hi Meredith, how are you? So of the machines that I have left, all the tans are gone. The last one should get picked up tomorrow. I have 1 more white available, the 1964. I have 6 222s. Someone picked up my 1958 this morning, who lives in, I think it's Kentucky. And then, and there was another one that I already sold out of that too, that's going to Bellingham. So I have, of the 6 remaining 222s, 2 are already, the motor conversions to the 110 vintage motors are already done. And so those are pretty much ready to go. And the other 4 have their 220s. And so I'll have to either get their motors rewound or put on the new aftermarket motors. So that's where I'm at with the lot. I have someone on here that says, Jackie Brandt said that she donated 1,000 masks. Nice job, girl. To the first responders. She said she made a ditty bag. What's a ditty bag? Jackie? What is that? Saving scraps from all the masks, and we'll make a string quilt wig. Nice. Okay, so someone wants to know what's the difference in the 221s and the 222s. That is an excellent question. So the 221s were made in 3 different factories in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. There was 1.2 million 221s made over the span of their manufacturing career. And it's definitely the most common featherweight in the US. So you can have a black 221, a white 221, or a tan 221, all considered the same model, but different colors from the factory. This has obviously been repainted. The 222s are the second featherweight model. They're also called the free arm convertibles. They are the Cadillac of the featherweight world, and they were made in much smaller quantities in the European plant intended for the European market. So they left, most of them left factory ready with the European 220 volt. So they are very elusive here in the US. I think I was probably a professional machine quilting teacher and was teaching for over 7 years before I even saw one show up in my class. That's how hard they are to find. So the price point reflects their rarity. They also have feed dogs that drop, and their whole bed extensions slide off of them, revealing a very tight sleeve. So if you're a sewist or a clothing constructor and you want that nice tight sleeve, it's a gem of a machine. And those, because of how hard they are to find, start around $2,000, where I sell most of my where my regular black post-war 221 start around $600. So that's a considerable difference in price point. And they're mostly younger. So many are in excellent. Yeah, they were manufactured in the mid 50s. So they are, the 221s that are on the market are not nearly as old as the 221s that were manufactured in the 30s and 40s. They also are slightly heavier because they have a little bit more guts to them with that bed extension that slides off. So yeah, they're kind of nice. So this, someone was asking about my wine. I enjoy a glass of wine every once in a while. This is a red blend, and I believe I think it starts with a C, Cabri, I believe, a red blend. I pick it up. We have a grocery outlet, Bergen Market here, which is like it's a chain of grocery stores, and they usually have deeply discounted wines. So this same bottle of wine is $18 at Bevmo, and I paid $3 at my grocery outlet, Bergen Market. Nice. All right, my quilting friend I met last year had a 222. She sold me. I never thought I'd see one, let alone. I know, Meredith. I know. Wait, a red blend. Oh, the wine. Yeah, I'm talking about the wine, Meredith. But the spool abacus on your wall. Do you love that? So I bought that. I had gone into a antique store, and I was looking for sewing machines. Big shocker. And I saw that on the wall, and I was like, my car was packed. We were on a trip, and I was like, that is coming home with us. And my husband looks at me, and I'm like, I'll make a spot. It's coming home with us. So it's thread spools. Isn't that fun? I couldn't leave it there. It is kind of $2 check. No judging here. We're in quarantine times. Well, it's $3 check, but it's $18 at Bevmo. So therefore, it's not really a $3 check, and it's actually quite decent. All right. Is the name of the pattern, it looks like it looks like a okay, so I was asking what a ditty bag was, and Jackie said it's the name of the pattern. It looks like a feminine version of a man's travel toiletry bags. Very cool. Nice. Hey, Kim. Kim is a Instagram friend who has been looking for a 1961 featherweight. I think, Kim, you are the longest person on my wait list ever. That particular year is extremely elusive. The reason why is the U.S. plant closed for Singer in 1957. So if you are looking for a featherweight of a year after 1957, you pretty much have to look overseas to find one. And I think Kim and I both agree that it will probably have to be a tan machine, because I think that was the manufacturing run they did in 1961. Hi, Melanie. How are you? Seed Stitch 13 says, we had ditty bags in boot camp to hold our gym clothes and send to the laundry. Did you make them yourself? Anything with zippers on it makes me nervous. What Sherry wants to know why 1961. It's really just anything after 1957 is hard to find, not just the 1961. But for some reason, they're very hard to find. Doing go. Melanie purchased a. I'm still on, Nancy. Hey, Nancy Vogel. Melanie purchased a 1957 from me this week, and she's sitting here ready to be packed up sometime next week. Hi, Linda. Linda's on too. Linda is the lucky lady that is going to be purchasing one of the 222s, the 1958. Yeah, oh, a red letter S, 1961. Nice. I've had it come through the shop. I've had a 1960 red letter S badge, but not a 61. A 1949, that actually, I have a 1949 right now. Are you in Redmond? M Strong 98052. That's the Redmond zip code. I live in Redmond, and I have a 1949. That's available for sale. Oh, it's a Centennial. Those are nice. I pretty much look forward to our Friday night happy hours, sew-ins each week. I like that it's more informal. A 34, oh, someone's on, she has a 1934 school bell. Do you know, Jer Nickerson, if it is the first production run in 34? Because otherwise, if it is, we have twins, because I have a first production run 34 school bell also. Oh, she's in Redmond. Hello. I'm in Redmond, very close to, what's that middle school? Rose Hill Middle School. Oh, it's the third. We don't have twins. Darn. One time in a workshop I was teaching in Scottsdale, there was, it was like twins was the name of the class. Practically, first of all, I'm an identical twin. So I am pretty in tune to meeting other identical twins. I'm the pretty one. Don't worry, just in case you want to know. That's our little joke anyway. She's really smart, so she has to give me the beauty. Anyway, this class I was teaching in Scottsdale had two twins in it, sisters. They were fraternal twins. And then I had sitting right across from them, like, what are the odds? I had two twin machines from like the same production run in like 1952. I mean, it was crazy, weird coincidence. I'm pressing, I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. I just put my little flanking corners on, and I'm pressing them with my fingers because I'm too lazy to stand up and go use the iron. Twincidence. Okay, Nola. I looked at that really quick and I thought you were saying that my twin's name is Denise. And I thought, how do you know that my twin's name is Denise? But it is her name, Denise. So Denise and Darlene. She's 3 minutes older. Melanie, I am working on a quilt, a bed-size quilt. It's Tula Pink is the fabric line. And it's a big bed quilt. I think it's 96 inches square when it's finished. And it's a modern quilt design with a lot of negative space. I do have this every Friday night. I'd love it if you would join me from 4 to 5, my time out here on the West Coast. So that's why the wine, it's still happy hour, right? I think a lot of people, though, with the quarantine, the happy hour hours have kind of been blurred a little, if you know what I mean. Someone was talking about the little noise. It's always happy hour. One of the, Jared Nickerson, I think you and I could be friends. One of the comments earlier was someone said, I love the sound of your machine. I do enjoy the sound because they have that sweet little tick, 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 tick noise. But one of the things I really like about my featherweights is they have a movement and a cadence to it. I know. Melanie, it's almost your bedtime. It's 7:38 there. And so some of the featherweights have a really pretty movement to them, and it's mesmerizing. My school bell is like that. It just, moves really nicely. New Orleans is always happy hour. Agreed. Hey. All right, so Kay is on. Hey, Kay. My niece found and gifted me what she thought was a featherweight. It was a Y Series 1925. Where can I get info on this? I actually don't know anything about those machines. I am strictly a featherweight gal. I wonder if that's 1925. I wonder if that's the predecessor to the featherweight. What is it? Kay, is it small and lightweight? Or is it more heavy? Does it live in a box or a cabinet? Tequila.
Send a picture.
Yeah, you can always, Kay, if you want a little bit more information on your Y Series, you can send a picture to my email, which is info@featherweightdoctor.com. And I can see, yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Nola, or I mean, Meredith, a 99. I can look it up for you. There's a big database on a website called ismacs.com, www.ismacs.net, not .com, .net. Someone was asking about my featherweight. Do you paint your own machines, or I paint my own machines, Miss Jackie? My husband and I, when we were both full-time with the company in Arizona, we were doing a couple a week, and now Andy had the nerve to go get a full-time job, and so we don't have the ability to paint as often as we'd like. So now we just do custom paint jobs on a case-by-case basis. Like I have a purple one that needs to be done sometime this spring, but we're really not actively painting at this point. So Kay said it's in a heavy box. Interesting. The most collectible featherweight I own. I have I have 6 machines in my personal collection. And do they say featherweights on the machines? Just wondering how you tell. Oh, I'll tell you the difference between the featherweights and some of the other antiques machines in a minute. So my most collectible machine is probably my factory black side. I don't know if you guys know much about the black sides, but they were made during the moratorium on chrome right before the war efforts shut the plant down to convert to ammunitions depots. So during the war, Singer did not make sewing machines. They made bullets, hand grenades, and pistols. But beforehand, before they shut down to change over to ammunitions, they did one more run in 1941 of what they call factory black side machines. So they're very collectible. We bought ours on Happy Accident. Do you guys want to see it? I'll go get it. Beautiful polka dots. You're repeating here, so losing some conversation. Oh, interesting. Let me grab my black side. Hang on. So this machine has very little to no chrome on her. Do you guys see her faceplate? It's that scroll faceplate. I don't know if you guys can, there, you can see it in the light. But it's blacked out. She has, this is a really good condition one. So she has black presser feet. She has black bobbins. Very little to no chrome on her. And I just need to point out real quick, my new friend Dawn, do you guys see my doily on top? She made these for me. I put them in all my personal collections. How sweet was that? I gotta show you this too. Let me grab this real quick. No, the feed dog plate is chrome. Oh, Nola wants to see it. Or Meredith. Here, I'll do this. Okay, so it has the chrome thing, but do you guys see the presser foot's black? See, but the most distinguishing thing is the black faceplate. Hey, Beck. Am I knowledgeable? Oh, my daughter. Okay, so Dawn sent me several of these lace doily things. But my daughter's favorite, do you guys see this? It's a little teacup. It goes on the spool pin cover. How sweet is that? Has little flowers on it. The black faceplate is beautiful. Bobbin. It does have a bobbin winder. Meredith. Oh, hey, Teresa. The black side, so it was kind of a happy accident. We buy a lot of machines online through auction sites, not just eBay. And Singer 221B Centennial Godzilla. Nice. So we buy from a lot of auction sites, not just eBay. And my husband, this was a couple of Christmases ago, he had bought 3 machines off auction in the middle of the night. And so we had seen some really light pictures of them, and they kind of all started trickling in from Florida. And the last one to get there was the black side. And that Christmas we had, I had the flu, and my husband was working for a church in ministry at the time, and he could not be sick. So I was kind of quarantined to the bedroom with my illness. And Becky, are you picking on my lipstick? I can see on her phone. I had lipstick on. My friend in California is saying I should have lip gloss on, I think. Do you want to send me some? Anyway, so he was tripping over the box in the entryway for days because I was too sick to open the box. And finally he comes home from work one day and he's like, goodness, Darlene, are you going to open this box? And I'm like, it's nothing exciting. Thanks, Meredith. She said I look adorable, Becky. I don't need lip gloss. So anyway, he's like, aren't you going to open this thing? And I'm like, I thought it was just another post-war black machine, and we already had 10 on the shelf, and so I just wasn't excited to open it. And he goes, fine. He goes, I'll open it. And so from the entryway, I hear, ooh, oh. And I'm like, what in the world? And Darlene, do you know what this is? And I'm like, it's a post-1945 black 221. And he goes, he goes, it's a black side. It's a black side. And so, yeah, we picked it up on happy accident. The picture on the ad was, here, from the back of the machine. So we couldn't see the faceplate. And I have had this very nice lady post a picture on my troubleshooting group that we run, and she thought something was wrong with the faceplate. She thought it was dirty. Like she almost attempted to clean it. And I was like, oh, no, 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 no. Not dirty. Supposed to be black. Thank you for the compliments on my glasses. So anyway, that was kind of a fun story. Someone was asking me, hold on, I gotta scroll up. After closer, I've never seen the Singer pistol. I have seen a Singer pistol. Here, I'll tell you that story. Okay, brother, we should just wondering how you tell. Okay, someone, cancel. Cred. Oh, how do I, sorry about that, guys. Stop touching things. No. Anywho, so how you know you have a featherweight as opposed to another antique another antique Singer is that, first of all, they are all aluminum, so they are super lightweight. If it's steel, you can tell the difference. This only weighs 10.5 pounds. And other small compact antique machines fit in a box or in a cabinet. The featherweight can sit tabletop on its own feet. So that is one very obvious sign that you have a featherweight. It also could say 221 or 222 on it. They're both featherweights. So that's the main difference. What was the 13 pounds with box. Exactly, Miss Meredith. Hey, tell Becky that Miss Meredith said to back off my lip gloss. You guys are cracking me up tonight. Let's see. There's another question. What was the other question? And then I can't find it. Oh well. Okay, back to sewing, Darlene. Becky's asking what?
How much is the chrome bus?
It's not for sale. The black side is part of my collection, so she's only staying with me because it was a happy accident. Oh, hey, someone's here from Brazil. Are you the nice lady that I spoke with last week on Friday? I have only ever seen a black side. Nola wants to know how often I've seen a black side. Actually, I've never, that's not true. One time I found a black side for sale. Actually, it was a friend of mine who was antiquing out of the city. She was in a suburb of, or like a, I want to say it's up in Kashmir, Washington or something. She was in an obscure thing and found a black side. But her friend bought it before I could. So I've only, the one that we own is really the only one I've ever seen. There was very, very few of them made. How can you decide which? So Jackie wants to know how you can decide which machines to keep. I love you too, Beck. My collection isn't going to get any bigger than what I have in my 6 because I have one of every factory color. So I have a tan. I actually need to name my tan. I should make that like a contest with my clients to pick a new name for my tan machine. I have Esther, which was my first featherweight. I have Opal, which is my white. Seed Stitches says, keep them all. Some people have limited storage. I have my 1934 school bell named Mary, and I have my my black side. I call her black side, and then my Ruby, my 222. And that's it for me. I just, I like to use all of my machines, and I'm really not into having a machine just to have a machine. I like, because these machines need to be sewn with regularly. So if I've had people in my, Jackie, I've had people in my classes and workshops that have 15, 20 featherweights. I mean, I guess in terms of an investment, you can't go wrong with buying a featherweight. They're not going to lose value. But if you're not using it, I think that's kind of, they just kind of want to be run, and it's really bad for them not to be run. So don't overbuy hoarding. Exactly, Meredith. Don't buy to the point where you'll never be able to actually use them all. I had a client that I recently sold one of my collector 222s. That's a lot of twos, and she wanted one for every grandchild. So she had 7, but it was because they were intended for a grandchild. But it's, if you have more than that, then the ones that which one do you like sewing with? Which ones have a nice hypnotic cadence to them? Sell the other ones. So keep the one that you would like to stitch with. Aesthetics aside, if you like to sew with her and she has a nice movement, keep those. You said that Meredith, hoarding is not good. Collections are good, not hoarding. Collections. My is my daily machine, and I gave her a custom replica cabinet. That is nice. Very cool. Okay, Paula wants to know, is there such a thing as a crinkle finish? There is. That is, the crinkle finish is another one of those elusive machines that are hard to find. They were made during the war for the military to use. So they have kind of a rough finish to them, and they are more similar to the tan machines in that they don't have any decals on them and no chrome on the faceplate. They're painted to match the whole machines. Those crinkle featherweights sell for $5,000+, and they are crazy collectible. If I ever had the opportunity to buy one of those, I would have to buy one to add to my collection. But they're very, very, very special. I had a very sweet lady, another Godzilla. I had a sweet lady come in one time when we were just kind of getting underway with our business in Scottsdale. I was doing a pop-up trunk show in a local fabric shop, and she came in and she looked at all of my machines, and some of them were painted, and she said, my machine doesn't look like, I have a featherweight, but my machine doesn't look like that. It has a really dull finish on it. And I looked at her and I said, are you willing to sell it? And she goes, no. And I said, you have something pretty special there. You probably know that, don't you? And she said, yes. And she promised to bring it by so I could at least see one in person, but we never met up. So I've never even seen one in person, but they're very cool. Sherry wants to know what a school side is. It's actually a school bell is what you're thinking. The school bell featherweights are were made in 33. There was one run in 33 and another run in 34, and then they changed. Let me show you. Actually, it's easier if I just show you, Sherry. Hang on one sec. I'm going to get all my machines down here in a minute. So this is my 1934 school bell. Do you see this little corner right here? That is the school bell. They're talking about the bobbin winder. So there's actually a notch, whoa, goodness gracious, cut out in the body here to be able to make room for this chrome pretty bobbin winder on the front. After 34, they moved the bobbin winder to the top deck of the machine, and they filled in this part of the mold so it was solid. So when you hear someone talk about a school bell featherweight, it's part of the bobbin winder. Yes, Meredith. They're talking about this. If you see this corner you know that that machine is very old, probably a 33 or a 34. So that's what a school bell looks like. Miss Sherry. So someone said I should name my, Jody suggested that I name my tan machine Sandy. I can't name her Sandy because I had another tan machine. Her name was Sandy, and I had to find her a new home this winter because I needed to generate some additional income to get ready for a big show. And I knew that these 3 tan featherweights were coming this spring, and so I was willing to let Sandy go. So it can't be Sandy. I have to name her something else. So what are some other suggestions? You know, I was just thinking, well, I guess I have a possible name. Blondie. Ooh, Ginger. These are good names. Tawny. Now that's not bad because that's what the color reminds me of. I think the tan machines are kind of, they're kind of utilitarian looking, and they're not as pretty as the black ones. So I often say that they're so ugly, they're cute. It's like Boston Terriers. They're so ugly, they're cute. Fauna, that's cute too. Chantilly. Oh, I like Chantilly. What? Oh, gosh, that hour went fast. My daughter just told me we've been on for an hour. How did that time just flew? Twiggy, like a fashion model from the 1960s. Like, nice, Ellen. That's good too. Chantilly is cute. I like that. Well, I guess, need to wrap things up because in Instagram world, I'm going to get cut off here in a minute. But I love this time, and my Friday night sip and sews will continue to go on well after the quarantine is over with. I just love sitting down in an informal setting and chatting with everybody. So I'm going to get to throwing some dinner together. And I like Twiggy. Next Friday night, I'll let everybody know what I decided to name her. LaFonda. You guys are cracking me up. So this coming week, we're going to stripper names. She's not going to get a stripper name, Meredith. No. So this next coming week, Monday, I'm doing another Ask the Doctor series live at 4 o'clock. I think it's going to be the third part of my Buying Your First Featherweight series. So tune in for that, 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Also, if you have any other questions for me to answer during the Ask the Doctor time, please feel free to email into info@featherweightdoctor.com. Our website is featherweightdoctor.com. So if you are in need of any featherweight supplies and you don't see what you're looking for on the website, then email in. I probably have it. It's just not on the website. You guys are cracking me up. Wednesday next week, I'm continuing on with that Boss Babe interview series that I'm doing, and I have Lynetta from Gossipium Quilts in Issaquah, Washington. She'll be joining me. So you guys have great suggestions. I have to take these all into account. All right. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, stay home, stay healthy. Talk to you later.